Picture a quiet morning, just before dawn. A father wakes not to an alarm, but to the soft stirring of his young daughter in the next room. He rises, moving through the peaceful house, and when he enters her room with that gentle smile she knows so well, something remarkable happens in her developing brain. In this simple moment of connection, her nervous system is learning what safety feels like. Research has shown us that children who experience consistent, loving responses from their fathers develop what psychologists call secure attachment, a foundation that will shape how she trusts, loves, and navigates the world for the rest of her life. This isn't just about feeling loved in childhood. It's about building the very architecture of her emotional world, the lens through which she'll see every relationship she ever has. As this father lifts his daughter and holds her close, speaking softly about the day ahead, he's doing something that will echo through generations. You see, when a man becomes a truly present father, he begins to rewire his own brain in profound ways. The very act of caring for his child releases oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, which actually reduces his stress levels and increases his capacity for empathy. It's as if nature designed fatherhood to make us better humans. That businessman who once lived for the next deal finds himself slowing down, noticing the small wonders his child points out: a butterfly, a smooth stone, the way light moves through water. He's not becoming less capable. He's becoming more fully human, accessing parts of himself that were dormant, waiting for this purpose. Later that same day, this father sits on the floor building blocks with his son. He's tired from work, his mind wants to drift to tomorrow's meetings, but he chooses to be here, fully present. What he doesn't realize is that his son is watching not just his hands stacking blocks, but the way he handles frustration when the tower falls. This is where emotional intelligence is born, not in lectures about feelings, but in these quiet moments of observation. Sons who have emotionally present fathers are statistically far more likely to develop healthy emotional regulation themselves. They learn that men can be both strong and tender, that emotions aren't weaknesses to hide, but signals to understand. This boy is learning the vocabulary of feelings simply by watching his father name them. I'm disappointed the tower fell, but let's try again. Decades from now, this man will be a partner who can communicate his needs, a professional who handles setbacks with resilience, and quite possibly, a father who passes this gift forward. As evening approaches, our father helps his daughter with her homework. She's struggling with a math problem, growing frustrated, and he feels that parental urge to simply give her the answer. But he doesn't. Instead, he sits beside her and asks questions, guiding her to discover the solution herself. This patience is teaching her something more valuable than mathematics. It's teaching her that she is capable, that struggling is part of learning, and that her father believes in her ability to figure things out. Studies have shown that children whose fathers are actively involved in their education perform better academically, not because fathers are better teachers, but because their involvement signals a powerful message. Your education matters. You matter. I believe in you. This belief becomes the voice in her head during difficult exams, challenging projects, and moments of self-doubt throughout her life. That night, after stories and tucking in, this father walks back to his own room and finds his partner exhausted from their own long day. He notices, and without being asked, he draws a bath, makes tea, creates a moment of peace. Here's something beautiful. Great fathers tend to be great partners because the skills are intertwined. When a man learns to be attentive to his children's needs, to be patient, to communicate, to share the invisible labor of running a household, he becomes a better partner. And children who grow up watching their father treat their mother with respect and equality develop healthier relationship models. They learn that love is spelled T-I-M-E and shown through action. They learn that partnership means true partnership, that parenting isn't helping but sharing, that respect isn't optional but fundamental.
As our father finally settles into sleep, his last thoughts aren't of the work presentation or the bills to pay. They're of his children's laughter that afternoon. The pride in his daughter's eyes when she solved that math problem. The way his son's hand felt in his during their evening walk. What he doesn't know yet is that this fulfillment he feels, this deep sense of purpose, is actually protecting his health. Research has revealed that engaged fathers have lower rates of depression and higher life satisfaction. The meaning they derive from fatherhood acts as a buffer against life's stresses. Those late nights rocking a sick child, the patience required for the 100th why question, the sacrifice of personal time, all of it is somehow giving back more than it takes. In the weeks that follow, this father makes 1,000 small choices. He turns off his phone during dinner. He says yes to the playground even when he's tired. He apologizes to his children when he's wrong, showing them that everyone makes mistakes and that repair is possible. And in doing so, he's creating something researchers call father hunger in reverse. Not the aching absence many children feel, but an abundance, a reservoir of memories and security his children will draw from for their entire lives. They'll remember not just that he was there, but how he made them feel. Seen, valued, delighted in, secure. The months turn like pages in a treasured book, and our father finds himself coaching his son's soccer team on Saturday mornings. He's not a professional athlete, doesn't know all the technical terms, but he shows up. Week after week, rain or shine, he's there. And here's what researchers have discovered. Children with actively involved fathers show significantly higher levels of self-confidence and self-esteem. It's not about the father being perfect or knowing everything. It's about the message his presence sends when his son looks over at the sideline and sees his father's face, watching, encouraging, celebrating the small victories and the learning moments in defeat. Something settles in that boy's heart. A quiet voice that says, I am worth someone's time. I am worth showing up for. This becomes the foundation of his self-worth, not built on achievements or perfection, but on the unwavering truth that he matters simply because he exists. One autumn evening, this same father sits at the dinner table, and instead of directing the conversation, he asks his daughter about her day. And then he listens. Truly listens, not with one eye on his phone or his mind planning tomorrow's tasks, but with his full attention. He asks follow-up questions. He validates her feelings when she talks about a conflict with a friend. He doesn't rush to fix everything. Sometimes he simply says, that sounds really hard. And in these moments, something profound is happening. Girls who have engaged, emotionally present fathers develop stronger communication skills and are far more likely to have healthy relationships in adulthood. They learn what it feels like to be heard by a man, to have their thoughts and feelings treated as important. Years from now, when someone dismisses her or talks over her, she'll recognize it immediately because she'll remember what respect actually feels like. She'll have higher standards because her father set them, not through lectures, but through the simple act of making her voice matter in her own home. Winter arrives, and our father faces a difficult moment. He's lost his job, a devastating blow. His children watch as he processes this setback, and here's where his response becomes a teaching moment more powerful than any he could have planned. He lets them see his disappointment, but also his resilience. He talks about his plan, about trying again, about how setbacks don't define us. Children who witness their fathers handling adversity with grace and determination develop what psychologists call resilience modeling. They learn that life will knock you down, but you can get back up. They learn that asking for help is strength, not weakness. They learn that failure is not final. This father, in his vulnerability and his recovery, is giving his children an invisible shield they'll carry into their own lives, the knowledge that they can survive hard things because they watched him do it.
As spring blooms, this father has found new work, but something has changed in him. The job loss taught him what really matters, and he's determined not to lose sight of it again. He starts a tradition. Every Sunday morning, he makes pancakes with his kids. Flour ends up everywhere, the kitchen becomes chaos. But they're laughing, working together, creating something. These rituals, these predictable moments of connection are creating what researchers call family cohesion. Children from families with strong traditions and rituals show better emotional health and stronger family bonds that last into adulthood. It's more than that. These Sunday pancakes are teaching his children that family is something you build intentionally, that together requires effort and creativity, and that some of life's best moments happen in ordinary kitchens on ordinary mornings when you choose to show up for each other. One afternoon, the father takes his teenage son fishing, something they haven't done in years. At first, the silence between them feels awkward. His son is at that age where everything a parent does seems embarrassing. As they sit by the water, something shifts. Without the pressure of eye contact, without the distractions of home, his son begins to talk. He shares worries about school, about fitting in, about not knowing who he is yet. The father listens, shares some of his own teenage struggles, and suddenly they're not just father and son, but two humans connecting across the years. Studies show that father-child relationships during adolescence are crucial for navigating this turbulent time. Teens with involved fathers are significantly less likely to engage in risky behaviors, less likely to struggle with substance abuse, and more likely to complete their education. But beyond the statistics, something sacred is happening by that water. His son is learning that masculinity has room for uncertainty, for questions, for not having all the answers. He's learning that real strength includes vulnerability, that you don't have to navigate life's confusion alone. That same spring, the father notices his daughter has become quieter, more withdrawn. Instead of dismissing it as teenage mood swings, he creates space for conversation. He takes her for drives. Something about moving forward while talking makes hard conversations easier. Eventually, she opens up about pressure she's feeling, about anxiety that's been building. He doesn't minimize it or tell her to just be positive. He validates her experience. Together they seek help from a counselor. This is where great fatherhood shows its true power, in the willingness to acknowledge when we're out of our depth, in the message that mental health matters, that asking for help is wisdom. Children whose fathers take their emotional well-being seriously are more likely to develop healthy coping mechanisms and less likely to suffer from untreated mental health conditions. More than that, this daughter is learning that she doesn't have to carry everything alone, that her father is a safe place to bring her struggles, that love means showing up, especially when things are hard. Summer arrives, and one evening the father sits in the backyard with both his children, now teenagers. They're talking about everything and nothing. Dreams, fears, silly hypotheticals, deep questions. He shares stories from his own youth, including his mistakes and what he learned from them. He doesn't preach or position himself as perfect. He's honest about his journey. This authenticity is powerful beyond measure. Children whose fathers share their own struggles and growth create what researchers call intergenerational wisdom. These children learn that growth is lifelong, that adults don't have everything figured out, that the journey matters more than the destination. They develop realistic expectations of themselves and others. They learn that imperfection is the human condition, and grace for ourselves and others is essential. As the stars emerge above them, this father looks at his children and feels an overwhelming sense of purpose. What he's beginning to understand is that everything he's done, every moment of patience, every sacrifice, every time he chose presence over convenience, has been an investment not just in his children's lives, but in his own transformation. Great fathers don't just raise great children, they become better versions of themselves in the process. The man he was before children seems like a stranger now, someone who understood so much less about love, about sacrifice, about what it means to be truly human. As this family sits together under the stars, connected by invisible threads of trust and love that have been woven through countless ordinary moments, they are writing a story that will be told in how these children love, how they parent, how they move through the world. The ripples spread outward, generation after generation, all beginning with a father who chose to show up.
Years pass like a river, flowing steadily toward the sea. And our father now watches his son prepare for his first job interview. They sit together at the kitchen table, the same table where they once built block towers and worked through math homework. The father helps him practice answers. But more importantly, he shares something vulnerable, his own fears when he started working, his early failures, the lesson that career is important, but not everything. What's happening here extends far beyond interview preparation. Sons who have actively involved fathers are statistically more likely to achieve higher education levels and greater career success. But the mechanism isn't about pressure or pushing, it's about modeling. This young man has watched his father navigate workplace challenges, has seen him balance ambition with integrity, has observed how a man handles both success and setback with grace. He's internalized lessons that no classroom could teach, that work ethic matters, that character trumps cleverness, that how you treat people on your way up determines who you really are. As his father straightens his tie and tells him, "You've got this, and even if you don't get this one, you'll get the next." He's carrying decades of quiet confidence building into that interview room. Meanwhile, the daughter is preparing for college, hours away from home. The father helps her pack, and as they fold clothes and organize belongings, he finds himself suddenly emotional. She notices and asks if he's okay. He admits he'll miss her terribly, that watching her grow up has been the greatest privilege of his life. This honesty, this willingness to show emotion, completes a circle that began when she was small. Young women who have emotionally dispersive fathers develop what researchers call emotional literacy, the ability to recognize, understand, and healthily express their own emotions. But there's something even more profound happening. She's witnessed throughout her life that men can be tender, that strength and sensitivity aren't opposites, and this knowledge will shape every relationship she has. When she chooses a partner someday, she'll instinctively seek someone who can be both strong and vulnerable, because her father showed her that real masculinity has room for the full spectrum of human emotion. She won't settle for emotional unavailability because she's known what emotional presence looks like. The house feels emptier with both children away at school. But the father discovers something unexpected. His relationship with his partner deepens in new ways. They have time for long conversations again, for spontaneity, for rediscovering each other beyond their parenting roles. And here's a truth that research consistently confirms. Couples who successfully co-parent and maintain strong partnerships while raising children report higher relationship satisfaction in the long term. The work of being a great father, the communication skills developed, the patience cultivated, the ability to put someone else's needs alongside your own. These same skills have strengthened his marriage. He and his partner have been a team, united in purpose, and that shared mission has woven their lives together in ways that transcend romance. They've built something together more complex and beautiful than either could have created alone. And their children, watching this partnership over the years, have internalized a template for what committed love actually looks like. Not the passion of movies, but the steady, daily choice to show up for each other. One weekend, both children come home for a visit, and the father notices something that fills him with quiet pride. His son helps with dinner without being asked, naturally pitching in. His daughter notices her mother is tired and suggests she rest while they handle things. These young adults have developed what researchers call prosocial behavior, the tendency to help, share, and care for others. Children with involved fathers show significantly higher levels of empathy and are more likely to engage in volunteer work and community service as adults. But watching his children move through the house with consideration and awareness, the father realizes this goes deeper than good manners. They've absorbed through thousands of small observations that family means caring for each other, that noticing others' needs is part of being human, that we're responsible for more than just ourselves. These aren't just good kids, they're becoming good people, and their goodness will ripple outward into friendships, workplaces, and eventually their own families.
At night, sitting around the table, they share stories and laughter. The father notices how his children have become interesting people. They have opinions, passions, quirks, dreams. They're not just extensions of him. They're wholly themselves. And he realizes that great fatherhood isn't about creating mini versions of yourself. It's about providing the security and support for children to discover who they truly are. Research shows that children with supportive fathers have stronger identity development and are more likely to pursue their authentic interests rather than what they think others expect of them. His daughter is studying environmental science, something he knows nothing about. But he's asked her to teach him, showing her that learning is lifelong and that her passions matter. His son is pursuing art, a path the father once might have worried about. But he's learned that success has many definitions. By supporting their authentic paths rather than imposing his own vision, he's given them something priceless: permission to be themselves. As the weekend winds down and his children prepare to return to their lives, the father drives his son to the train station. In the car, his son says something unexpected. "Dad, I want you to know that I see everything you did for us. I didn't always appreciate it when I was younger, but I do now. You showed me what kind of man I want to be, what kind of father I want to be someday." The father has to pull over because tears blur his vision. This is the moment every father hopes for but can never demand. The moment when the child sees, understands, appreciates. Studies have shown that father-child relationships often strengthen in young adulthood as children gain perspective and fathers release the need to discipline and direct. But beyond the research, this is about legacy. This young man isn't just planning to repeat what he observed. He's been so fundamentally shaped by his father's presence that he can't imagine approaching fatherhood any other way. The cycle of great fatherhood perpetuates itself, not through genetics or luck, but through the deliberate, daily choice to show up with love. Back home that evening, the father sits quietly with his partner, both feeling the bittersweet ache of children growing up. She takes his hand and says, "You've been an amazing father. Our children are who they are because of you." He deflects, saying she's done just as much, but she insists, "The way you showed up, every single day, even when you were tired, even when work was demanding, you made them feel safe and loved and seen. That's everything." And here's a truth that often goes unspoken. Great fathers strengthen entire family systems. When a father is actively involved, research shows that mothers experience less stress. Children have better outcomes across virtually every measure, and the family as a whole develops greater resilience. But it's more than statistics. It's the lived reality of a family where everyone feels supported, where burdens are shared, where love is shown through action. This father, through his consistent presence, hasn't just shaped his children. He's been the steady foundation that allowed his entire family to flourish. As he prepares for bed, the father reflects on the journey, the exhausted new parent he once was, walking the floors at 3 a.m. with a colicky baby. Could never have imagined this moment. Grown children who are thriving, a partnership deepened by shared purpose, a sense of fulfillment that permeates everything. He thinks about all the small moments. The scraped knees kissed, the homework help, the tough conversations, the celebrations, the ordinary Tuesday evenings that somehow contained everything important. And he understands now what the research has been telling us all along. Active, engaged fatherhood doesn't just benefit children.
It gives fathers themselves a profound sense of meaning and purpose that enhances their overall life satisfaction and well-being. He hasn't just given his children a gift. They've given him one. They've made him more patient, more empathetic, more fully human. They've taught him what matters and what doesn't. They've shown him what love actually means. Not a feeling, but 10,000 small actions that add up to a life well lived. The house is quiet now, but it doesn't feel empty. It feels full of memories, of love, of a legacy being written. And as our father drifts towards sleep, he carries with him the deep peace of knowing that his presence mattered, that his children will carry forward the love he gave them, that the ripples of great fatherhood extend far beyond what any one person can see.
Time moves forward with gentle insistence, and our father receives a phone call that changes everything. His daughter's voice trembles with joy and nerves. "Dad, I'm pregnant. You're gonna be a grandfather." In that moment, standing in his kitchen holding the phone, he's flooded with memories, holding her for the first time, teaching her to ride a bike, watching her graduate. Now she's about to begin her own journey into parenthood. What he doesn't fully realize yet is that his role is far from over. Research has shown us something beautiful. Children who had involved fathers are significantly more likely to become involved parents themselves. The cycle perpetuates, not through obligation, but through love remembered, through the internalization of what good parenting looks like. His daughter isn't just having a baby. She's about to pass forward everything he taught her about patience, presence, and unconditional love. The investment he made decades ago is now compounding, spreading into another generation, and for him, becoming a grandfather will open new dimensions of love he couldn't have imagined. The chance to witness his own child become a parent, to support without the weight of primary responsibility, to love with the wisdom that only time can bring. The months pass, and he watches his daughter navigate pregnancy with a mix of excitement and anxiety. He calls her regularly, not to give unsolicited advice, but to ask how she's feeling, to listen, to share stories about when her mother was pregnant with her. His son-in-law mentions one day how grateful he is for these conversations, how his own father was never emotionally available, and he's learning from watching this grandfather to be how to show up. This is the hidden reach of great fatherhood. It doesn't just impact your own children, but everyone they touch. Sons-in-law and daughters-in-law who witness healthy father-child relationships gain a model they may have lacked. They see what supportive family systems look like, what emotional availability means, what it looks like when a man knows how to love well. This grandfather is teaching not through instruction but through example, showing his daughter's husband that fatherhood can be approached with tenderness and strength intertwined. The day arrives. A granddaughter is born. When the father holds this tiny being for the first time, something cracks open in his chest. It's different from when he held his own children. Less terrifying, perhaps, but somehow even more profound. He's witnessing the continuation of his family's story, seeing his daughter's face in this infant's features, understanding viscerally that love multiplies rather than divides. Studies have revealed that involved grandfathers play crucial roles in child development, providing additional security, wisdom, and emotional support. Children with engaged grandfathers show better emotional regulation and have an expanded sense of family connection. But beyond the research, he's discovering that being a grandfather offers a kind of second chance at presence. The opportunity to be fully available without the exhaustion of primary caregiving, to spoil and support and love with the perspective that only age provides. He can be patient in ways he couldn't always manage when his own children were small, because he knows now how quickly it all passes. As his granddaughter grows from infant to toddler, he makes it a priority to see her regularly. He babysits, not as a favor but as a privilege. He reads her the same books he read to his own children, his voice soft and animated, and watches her eyes go wide with wonder. What's happening in these moments extends across 3 generations. His daughter, watching him with her child, remembers being that small, being read to, being cherished. She's parenting with confidence, partly because she's seen it modeled, but also because she has support. And
and research consistently shows that new parents with involved, supportive grandparents experience less stress and postpartum depression. The grandfather is giving his daughter the gift of backup, of shared joy and shared burden, of knowing she's not alone in this immense responsibility. And his granddaughter, though too young to articulate it, is learning that family is a web of connection, that love comes from multiple sources, that she's held by more than just her parents. One afternoon, while his daughter naps and he watches his granddaughter play, she toddles over and climbs into his lap, resting her head against his chest. She's tired, starting to drift towards sleep, and he holds her with a tenderness that brings tears to his eyes. In this quiet moment, he thinks about his own father, a good man but emotionally distant, a product of his time who believed providing was enough. This grandfather has broken that pattern by being present and emotionally available with his own children. He changed the trajectory of his family line. His daughter parents differently because he parented differently. His granddaughter will grow up with the security he never had, a multi-generational foundation of healthy attachment. This is what researchers mean when they talk about breaking cycles. It happens not through dramatic moments, but through thousands of small choices to do things differently, to be more present, to love more openly. Meanwhile, his son calls with news. He's getting married. The father travels to meet his future daughter-in-law's family, and during the weekend, her father pulls him aside. "I can see why your son is such a good man," he says. "The way he treats my daughter, the emotional intelligence he has, that came from somewhere." The two fathers talk late into the night about raising children, about hopes and fears, about the sacred responsibility of sending good people into the world. Our father realizes something profound. Great fatherhood creates reverberations in directions you never anticipate. His son's capacity for healthy relationship, his communication skills, his emotional availability, his respect for women, these qualities are now the foundation of a new marriage, a new family forming. Research confirms that boys who have involved, respectful fathers are more likely to become partners who share domestic responsibilities equitably and who have successful, stable relationships. Sitting with this other father, sharing this moment of connection, he understands that fatherhood is ultimately about releasing children into the world with enough love and skill to build good lives, to choose good partners, to perpetuate goodness. The wedding day arrives, and as he watches his son marry, our father is asked to speak. He keeps it brief but shares this: "My greatest accomplishment isn't my career or any external success. It's raising children who are kind, who know how to love, who understand that life's meaning comes from connection and purpose. Watching my son become a man who knows how to partner, how to support, how to show up, that's everything." Later, several guests approach him, mentioning how moved they were, how rare it is to hear a father speak with such emotional openness. He realized that even in this, he's modeling something important, that men can speak about love without embarrassment, that fatherhood isn't something to be taken for granted but celebrated, that our children are our greatest teachers and our most important work. As both of his children settle into their adult lives, his daughter navigating early parenthood, his son building a new marriage, the father finds himself in a new phase. He's no longer the primary guide, but a consultant, available when needed but respectful of boundaries. He's learning what researchers call the evolution of fatherhood across the lifespan, the understanding that being a great father means adapting to your children's changing needs. When they were young, they needed him to be present and protective. As teenagers, they needed him to balance guidance with growing independence. Now, as adults, they need him to be supportive without being intrusive, to offer wisdom without insisting on it, to love without controlling. This flexibility, this willingness to evolve is perhaps the final mark of great fatherhood, the recognition that it's not about his needs but theirs, not about holding on but about letting go while remaining available. One evening, he sits in his backyard with his partner, both of them grandparents now, both of them watching their children build their own families.
"We did something right," she says, squeezing his hand. "Look at them. They're happy. They're good people. They know how to love." He nods, feeling a satisfaction deeper than any professional achievement ever brought. He thinks about all the fathers he's known, some who were present, some who weren't, some who tried but didn't quite know how. He thinks about how different the world might be if every child had what his children had. A father who showed up, who stayed engaged, who loved openly and well. Research tells us that communities with involved fathers have lower crime rates, better educational outcomes, and stronger social cohesion. But it's more than statistics. It's the lived reality of children who grow up secure, who become adults capable of building good lives, who perpetuate cycles of health rather than harm.
The seasons continue their eternal dance, and our father now finds himself in his 60s. His granddaughter is 7 years old, and she asks him one day, "Grandpa, will you teach me to fish like you taught Daddy?" His heart swells as he realizes she's heard the stories, that the memories he created with his son have become part of the family mythology. They spend a Saturday afternoon by the same lake where he once took his own children. And as he shows her how to cast the line, he's experiencing something researchers have identified as profoundly beneficial. Engaged grandfathers report higher levels of life satisfaction and sense of purpose in their later years. The involvement with grandchildren provides meaning, combats isolation, and keeps them mentally and physically active. But beyond his own well-being, he's giving his granddaughter something irreplaceable. As they sit in comfortable silence, waiting for a bite, she suddenly says, "Grandpa, Mommy says you are the best daddy. I'm glad you're my grandpa." In that moment, he understands that he's not just teaching her to fish. He's showing her that she's valued across generations, that family connections span time, that she's part of a story larger than herself. His son and daughter-in-law announce they're expecting their first child, and during the pregnancy, his son calls him frequently. Not for advice exactly, but to talk through his fears and excitement. "Dad," he says one evening, "I keep thinking about all the things you did with us, the time you spent, the patience you had. I want to be that kind of father, but I'm scared I won't measure up." The father reassures him, shares his own early fears, and realizes something beautiful is happening. Men who had involved fathers feel more confident entering parenthood themselves and are more likely to be actively involved from the beginning. His son isn't burdened by having to figure it all out alone or by toxic masculinity that says men shouldn't be nurturing. He has a template, a living example of how to approach fatherhood with both strength and tenderness. The grandfather is experiencing one of the deepest joys available to humans, watching your children succeed at something you taught them, seeing your values perpetuate not through force but through their genuine desire to continue what you began. When his grandson is born, the new grandfather is present in a way his own father never was. He brings meals, helps with laundry, holds the baby so his exhausted son and daughter-in-law can sleep. He remembers how isolated he sometimes felt as a new father, and he's determined his son won't experience that. Studies show that new fathers with supportive, involved parents experience smoother transitions to parenthood and are more likely to remain actively engaged as their children grow. But watching his son hold his newborn grandson, our grandfather witnesses something that moves him to tears. His son is gentle, confident, unashamed of his emotion. He coos at the baby, changes diapers without complaint, works in true partnership with his wife. The grandfather realizes that by modeling this behavior decades ago, he didn't just raise a good son, he helped create a good father. The investment compounds across generations, each one building on the last. One afternoon, both of his children visit with their families. His daughter with her now 2 children, his son with his newborn. The house that once felt empty is alive with the sound of children playing.
with laughter and the beautiful chaos of family. As he watches his adult children parent their own kids, he notices how naturally they work together, how they communicate, how they balance firmness with affection. Research has demonstrated that adults who grew up with involved fathers are more likely to have positive relationships with their siblings and to maintain strong family connections throughout their lives. His children aren't just individually thriving, they genuinely like each other, support each other, show up for each other's children. The family cohesion he and his partner worked to build decades ago has become self-sustaining, a web of connection that will hold these grandchildren safe.
That evening, after everyone has left, his partner finds him looking at old photographs, images of his children as babies, as awkward teenagers, as young adults. "Do you have any regrets?" she asks gently. He thinks for a long moment. "I wish I'd worried less about work, about money, about all the things that seemed so important then. I wish I'd understood sooner that every phase passes so quickly that you can't get those years back." But then he smiles. "But I don't regret the time I spent with them. Every game I played, every story I read, every conversation we had, none of that was wasted. I'd do it all again exactly the same way." This reflection captures what research on aging consistently shows. At the end of life, people rarely regret the career opportunities they missed, but they deeply regret time not spent with loved ones. This father, by prioritizing presence throughout his children's lives, has built a treasury of memories that sustain him now, relationships that remain vibrant and meaningful. As the years continue their march, the grandfather develops some health issues, nothing catastrophic, but enough to remind him of mortality. His children respond immediately, researching doctors, attending appointments with him, making sure he and their mother are supported. The role reversal is both humbling and beautiful. Adults who had involved, caring fathers are significantly more likely to provide care and support for aging parents. But more than obligation, what he sees in his children's faces is genuine love and concern. They're not caring for him out of duty, but out of the same love he showed them throughout their lives. What goes around truly does come around, and he realizes that in loving his children well, he was also, unknowingly, securing his own future well-being. But even more than that, he's proud that they've become people with this capacity for caregiving, people who don't turn away from difficulty, people who understand that love means showing up in the hard times. One Sunday, the whole family gathers for his birthday, 3 generations around the table, and his oldest grandchild, now a teenager, stands to make a toast. "Grandpa," she says, "you've always made me feel special, like I matter. You listen to my ideas even though I'm just a kid. You make time for me. I hope when I'm older, I can be like you." The grandfather has to pause to compose himself. Studies have shown that positive grandparent-grandchild relationships contribute significantly to adolescent well-being and can buffer against stress and mental health challenges. But hearing his granddaughter articulate what his presence has meant to her, it's confirmation that the work of love is never invisible, never wasted. Even when we think children aren't paying attention, they're absorbing everything, learning what it means to value people, to make them feel seen and heard. Later that night, unable to sleep, the grandfather sits in his favorite chair and reflects on the full arc of his life. He thinks about the young man he was, becoming a father for the first time, terrified he'd mess it up. He thinks about all the moments of doubt, of exhaustion, of wondering if he was doing enough. And now, looking at the evidence, children who are thriving, grandchildren who are secure and loved, a family system that is healthy and connected, he understands that he did do enough, more than enough. Research on life satisfaction in older adults consistently shows that those who maintain strong family relationships report the highest levels of happiness and contentment. But for him, it's not about his own happiness, though he is deeply content. It's about knowing that the love he gave is multiplied, that it will continue rippling forward long after he's gone, that he participated in something larger than himself. He was a link in a chain and he didn't break it. He strengthened it. As he finally makes his way to bed, he passes the wall of family photos, decades of moments frozen in time. He sees his children's faces at every age, his grandchildren growing, his partner young and then older beside him through it all. And he understands that this is wealth, not money or possessions, but relationships nurtured, love given and received, a legacy not of things but of connection. He climbs into bed beside his partner of so many years and she murmurs sleepily, "Good birthday." He pulls her close and whispers, "The best. Thank you for building this life with me." And as sleep finally comes, he carries with him a peace that only comes from knowing you've lived well, loved well, and left the world better than you found it.
More years unfold like petals opening to the sun. And our grandfather, now in his 70s, sits on his porch watching his youngest grandchild learn to ride a bicycle. His son runs alongside, one hand steadying the seat, his voice full of encouragement. The grandfather remembers doing this exact thing with his son decades ago. Remembers the moment he let go and watched him wobble forward into independence. Now he's witnessing his son recreate that moment, and the symmetry of it fills him with quiet joy. What researchers have discovered is that this intergenerational transmission of parenting practices is one of the most powerful forces in family systems. Children don't just remember what their parents did, they embody it, recreating the positive experiences and consciously avoiding the negative ones. His son's patience, his encouraging words, his presence in this moment, all of it echoes the fathering he received. The grandfather is watching his own love reflected back, multiplied, passed forward. And his grandson, learning to balance on two wheels, is also learning something deeper. That family shows up, that men can be gentle guides, that there's safety in trying new things because someone who loves you is right there. Inside the house, his daughter is teaching her own daughter to bake. The same cookies recipe her father taught her when she was small. Flour dusts the kitchen, and laughter rings out as they measure and mix.
The grandfather
watches from the doorway, unnoticed, and his eyes well up. She's not just teaching a recipe, she's passing on a tradition, creating the same warm memories he created with her. Studies show that family traditions and intergenerational activities contribute significantly to children's sense of identity and belonging. But more than that, his daughter is demonstrating what he taught her. That the best moments aren't expensive or elaborate, they're simple, they're together, they're filled with presence. Her daughter will remember this afternoon not because of the cookies, but because her mother made her feel capable, trusted her with adult tasks, laughed with her, created space for connection. The thread of intentional, present parenting stretches across 3 generations now, each one adding their own color while maintaining the essential pattern. One evening, his son asks if they can talk over coffee. He shares that he's been thinking about masculinity, about what it means to raise boys in this changing world. "Dad," he says, "I realize how rare what you gave us was. You showed me that men can be emotional, that we can be nurturing, that strength includes gentleness. I didn't have to unlearn toxic masculinity because you never taught it to me. Do you know how many of my friends are struggling with that?" The grandfather nods slowly. Research has consistently shown that boys who grow up with emotionally available fathers develop healthier concepts of masculinity and are less likely to engage in aggressive or dominating behaviors. But hearing his son articulate this, understanding that by simply being himself, by showing his full humanity, he gave his son a gift many men never receive. It's profoundly moving.
He changed the trajectory, not just of his own family line, but potentially of every person his son and grandson will ever interact with. Healthy masculinity,
Modeled and lived, creates ripples that touch communities, workplaces, friendships, and future relationships. His health continues to decline gradually, the inevitable march of time that comes for everyone. But what could be a lonely, frightening time is softened by the presence of his family. His grandchildren visit regularly, and they're not obligated or resentful. They genuinely want to be there. His teenage grandson asks him to tell stories about the old days, recording them on his phone. For when you're not here anymore, Grandpa, he says with the blunt honesty of youth, instead of being morbid, it's beautiful. The grandfather shares stories about his own childhood, his early days with their grandmother, the lessons he learned. Research indicates that storytelling between generations strengthens family bonds and gives younger generations a sense of continuity and roots. But for him, these conversations are a kind of immortality. His stories, his values, his love will live on in these children's memories, and in the stories they'll someday tell their own children. He's weaving himself into the family narrative, ensuring that even when he's gone, the essence of what he stood for will remain.
One afternoon, his granddaughter, now in college, comes to visit alone. She's struggling with a decision about her future, torn between what she loves and what feels practical. He listens as she lays out her dilemma, and then he shares something he's learned over decades. The things that mattered most in my life were never about money or status. They were about love, about being present for people, about pursuing meaning. I don't know what the right choice is for you, but I know that whatever allows you to be most fully yourself, whatever lets you love well and contribute to something larger than yourself, that's what you should choose. She cries and hugs him, and later she tells her mother, "Grandpa really sees me. He doesn't try to make me into what he thinks I should be. He just wants me to be happy and true to myself." This is the ultimate gift of great fatherhood and grandfathering, creating space for the younger generation to become themselves. Research shows that family support for authentic self-expression is one of the strongest predictors of young adult well-being and life satisfaction. He's given her permission to be herself, and that permission is a kind of freedom that will sustain her through every challenge ahead. As his 80th birthday approaches, his family plans a celebration. What he doesn't know is that they've each been writing letters about what his fatherhood has meant to them. At the party, surrounded by children, grandchildren, and even a few great-grandchildren now, they read these letters aloud. His daughter speaks of always feeling safe, of learning what respect looks like, of never doubting her worth because he made her feel valued every day. His son talks about the model of manhood he provided, about learning that vulnerability is strength, about understanding that real success is measured in relationships, not accomplishments. The grandchildren share memories, fishing trips, patient explanations, feeling listened to, unconditional support. By the end, everyone is crying, but they're tears of gratitude and connection. Studies on aging and family relationships show that feeling valued and appreciated by family members is one of the strongest predictors of life satisfaction, and can even correlate with better physical health outcomes in older adults. But for our grandfather, The gift isn't just feeling appreciated, it's knowing with absolute certainty that his life meant something, that the years of showing up and choosing love over convenience have created something that will outlive him. Later that night, exhausted but happy, he sits with his partner in the quiet after everyone has gone. "We did it," she says simply. "We raised good humans who are raising good humans." He takes her hand, this woman who has been beside him through everything, and marvels at how their partnership created the foundation for all of this. Research consistently demonstrates that children benefit most when they see their parents in healthy, respectful partnerships, learning that love is about equality, communication, and mutual support. His marriage has been part of his legacy too, teaching his children and grandchildren what committed love actually looks like through decades, through challenges and joys, through the ordinary days that make up a life. She was his partner in the most important work he ever did, and he tells her so. They sit in companionable silence, two people who built something beautiful together, who stayed the course, who loved each other and their family well. As the night deepens, he reflects on something profound. He's become the ancestor he wishes he'd had, his own father. Though good, was emotionally distant, believing that providing financially was enough. This grandfather made a different choice, and in doing so, he changed everything that came after. The children in his family line will grow up differently because of decisions he made 50 years ago. To be present at school events, to speak openly about emotions, to show affection freely, to prioritize relationships over career advancement. Studies on intergenerational trauma and healing show that cycles can be broken when one generation makes conscious, different choices. He was that generation for his family. He was the pattern breaker, the one who said, "This ends here. My children will know they're loved." And they did, and their children do. And the children not yet born will too.
As sleep begins to pull him under, gentle and welcome, he thinks about legacy one final time. Not the kind measured in money or achievements, but the kind that lives in how people treat each other, in the security children feel, in the love that gets passed forward. He pictures his great-grandchildren, some of whom he may never meet, and he hopes they'll hear stories about him, not about what he accomplished in the world, but about how he loved, how he showed up, how he made people feel seen. And as consciousness fades into the peaceful dark, his last thought is gratitude for the chance to be a father, a grandfather, a presence in people's lives, a link in the golden chain of love that stretches backward to his ancestors and forward to descendants he'll never know. The work is done. The love continues. All is well. The grandfather is now in his late 80s, and his body has grown frail, but his mind remains clear, filled with the accumulated wisdom of a life well lived. His great-grandson, just 4 years old, climbs carefully onto his lap, and the old man wraps his arms around this child who carries his blood forward into a future he'll never see. The boy asks, "Tell me a story."
Great-grandpa.
And so he does. A simple tale about kindness, about a boy who learned to share, about how small acts of love create ripples. The child listens with wide eyes, and though he won't remember the specific words, something deeper is being transmitted. Research on early childhood development shows that positive interactions with elderly family members help children develop respect for aging, reduce fear of mortality, and create intergenerational empathy.
But more than that, this moment is teaching the child that he's part of a continuum, that love stretches across generations, that the very old and very young share a special connection.
The grandfather feels the circle completing. He once held his own children this way.
Then his grandchildren, and now this great-grandchild.
Each generation held and holding, loved and loving, an endless chain of care. His daughter visits one afternoon and finds him looking through old journals he kept when she and her brother were young.
He'd written about their milestones, his struggles and triumphs as a father, his hopes for who they'd become. She reads over his shoulder and discovers entries she never knew existed.
Moments when he doubted himself. Times when he was exhausted beyond measure but chose to show up anyway. Reflections on how fatherhood was transforming him.
Dad, she says, tears streaming, I never knew you struggled sometimes. You always seemed so confident, so sure.
He smiles gently.
That's what love required, showing up even when I didn't feel ready, trusting that the effort mattered more than perfection. This vulnerability, this honesty about the reality of parenting, is perhaps his final gift to her. Studies show that when parents share their authentic experiences, including their struggles, it helps adult children approach their own parenting with more compassion and realistic expectations. She realizes that the image of effortless perfection was never the goal. It was the consistent choice to love despite doubt, to be present despite exhaustion, to keep showing up no matter what. One Sunday, the entire extended family gathers, 4 generations spanning nearly a century of life. The grandfather surveys the scene, his children, now in their 60s, silver-haired but still vital. His grandchildren, adults with their own established lives. His great-grandchildren, the youngest generation, full of energy and possibility. He counts them in his head, 23 people, all here because of the love he and his partner shared so many decades ago. The conversation flows around him, multiple threads weaving together, career discussions, parenting challenges, political debates, laughter over shared memories. What strikes him most is how they treat each other with fundamental respect and affection, even when they disagree. Research on family systems demonstrates that families with strong intergenerational bonds show greater resilience during crisis, better communication patterns, and higher overall life satisfaction across all generations. But watching his family, he sees something beyond research. He sees people who genuinely like each other, who choose to gather not out of obligation but desire, who have internalized the message that family matters most.
His grandson pulls him aside during the gathering. He's struggling in his own role as a father, feeling the weight of work-life balance, wondering if he's doing enough. The grandfather listens, then shares something he learned too late. Your children won't remember every game you attended or missed. They'll remember how you made them feel. They'll remember if you were truly present when you were with them. If you listened when they talked, if they felt like they mattered to you. Quality isn't just about time, it's about attention, about making them feel seen.
The younger man nods, visibly relieved. Studies consistently show that parental stress decreases when parents have access to intergenerational wisdom and support. But more than relieving stress,
the grandfather is passing on hard-won insight, helping his grandson avoid mistakes, offering the perspective that only decades can provide.
this is the gift of elders.
Not just memory, but meaning.
Not just experience, but interpretation. As evening approaches and the family begins to depart, each person comes to say goodbye.
The great-grandchildren hug him carefully, aware he's fragile now. The grandchildren linger, telling him they love him, thanking him for being there.
His own children hold him longest, and he can feel in their embrace the full weight of their gratitude and their preemptive grief.
They know, though no one speaks it aloud, that gatherings like this are numbered.
On his way out,
His son pauses at the door and turns back.
Dad, I just want you to know,
Everything good in my life traces back to what you taught me.
the man I am, the father I've been able to be.
The relationships I have.
It all started with you showing me what love looks like.
The grandfather nods, unable to speak past the lump in his throat. This is what every father hopes for but can never demand. The acknowledgement that it mattered, that the investment paid dividends beyond measure, that the love was received and understood and passed forward.
That night,
Lying in bed beside his wife of over 60 years, he takes her hand. They've weathered so much together. The exhausting years of young parenthood,
Career struggles,
health scares, the bittersweet evolution of watching children grow and leave and return as adults.
do and remember.
He says softly, when we were young parents, so tired we could barely speak, wondering if we were doing any of it right.
She squeezes his hand.
We did it right.
She says with certainty.
Look at them. Look at what we built together.
Research on long-term marriage and family satisfaction shows that couples who successfully navigate parenthood together and maintain strong partnerships report the highest levels of life satisfaction in older age.
But statistics can't capture this moment.
Two people at the end of their journey, looking back at what they created, not with regret but with profound satisfaction.
Every sacrifice was worth it. Every sleepless night, every worry, every moment they chose their children over personal convenience. All of it added up to this. A family that works, that loves, that will continue.
In the quiet hours of the night, unable to sleep,
The grandfather finds himself thinking about the concept of immortality. He doesn't believe he'll live forever, but he realizes he's wrong about that in a way.
every value he held,
Every lesson he taught, every moment of love he gave.
all of it lives on in his children and their children and their children's children.
Studies on intergenerational transmission of values show that core principles, especially those modeled rather than merely spoken, persist across multiple generations. His great-great-grandchildren, not yet born, will be shaped by choices he made before their parents were even conceived. When they feel secure in relationships, when they parent with patience, when they show up for their own families, part of that will trace back to this moment, to this man who chose love so consistently that it became embedded in his family's DNA.
This is the only immortality that matters.
Living on in how you shape the people who came after you, and the love that ripples forward infinitely as dawn begins to paint the sky with gentle colors. The grandfather finally drifts towards sleep. His body is tired, ready for rest after so many years of life fully lived. But his heart is full, overflowing with gratitude for the gift of fatherhood, for the chance to love so many people, for the privilege of watching his legacy unfold across generations. His last conscious thought before sleep takes him as simple but profound. He was here, he loved well, and that love will never die. It will live in his daughter's patience with her children, in his son's emotional availability, in his grandchildren's confidence and compassion, in his great-grandchildren's security and joy.
The work of his life, the daily, often invisible work of being a present,
Loving father,
will echo forward through time, touching lives he'll never meet.
The seasons turn once more, and our grandfather enters his final year of life. He knows it with the quiet certainty that comes near the end. His body is failing, though his spirit remains luminous. His family knows it too, and instead of panic or denial, there is a collective decision to make this time sacred. His children arrange their schedules so someone is always with him. His grandchildren visit more frequently, bringing their own children, filling his final days with the sounds of life continuing. What researchers have documented is that families with strong intergenerational bonds navigate end-of-life transitions with less trauma and more grace. And the dying person experiences significantly reduced anxiety when surrounded by loving family. But beyond the research, something profound is unfolding. His family is giving him the gift of a good death, surrounding him with love, showing him that everything he built is strong enough to continue without him. They are releasing him with gratitude rather than desperation, and in this, they're demonstrating the final lesson he taught them, that love doesn't cling or grasp, but honors and releases.
his eldest grandchild,
Now a mother herself,
sits with him,
and he
asks her about her life, her dreams, her children. She tells him about her career, about her struggles balancing work and family, and then she pauses. Grandpa, I think about what you did. How you were there for all of us, how you made us feel so important. And I try to do that with my own kids. Sometimes I fail, but I keep trying because of what you showed me. He takes her hand with fingers grown thin and fragile.
That's all any of us can do.
He whispers.
Keep trying, keep choosing love.
You're doing beautifully. Research shows that having strong relationships with grandparents correlates with better mental health outcomes across the entire lifespan, and that adults who had involved grandparents report greater life satisfaction and emotional well-being. But for this woman, holding her grandfather's hand as he nears the end, the gift goes deeper than statistics. He believed in her before she believed in herself, loved her unconditionally, modeled what it meant to be fully present. She carries that forward now with her own children, and they will carry it forward with theirs. The chain remains unbroken. His son comes to sit with him one evening, and they talk about everything and nothing. Sports, weather, memories from long ago. Finally, his son's composure breaks. Dad, I'm not ready to lose you. You've been my compass, my model for everything. How do I do this without you? The grandfather smiles gently. You've already learned everything you need. You don't need me anymore. You haven't for years. You're a wonderful father, a good man, and that's all I ever wanted for you. They sit in silence, holding hands, and the son realizes his father is right. The lessons have been internalized, the modeling absorbed. Studies on grief and family resilience show that strong father-child relationships, even after the father's death, continue to influence adult children's choices and provide emotional support through memory and internalized wisdom. His father will live on in how he parents, how he treats people, how he navigates the world. Death can take the body, but not the impact, not the love, not the legacy. In one of his final conversations with his daughter, she asks him if he has any regrets. He thinks for a long time, then says, I regret the moments I was distracted when you were trying to tell me something important. I regret the times I chose work over presence. But those moments were few, and I learned from them. Mostly, I'm just grateful. Grateful for you, for your brother, for all the children and grandchildren you've given me. You made my life meaningful. She cries, tells him he was an incredible father, that she wouldn't be who she is without him. You gave me a template for what love looks like. She says, you showed me that I was valuable, that my thoughts and feelings mattered, that I deserved respect, that changed everything about my life. Research demonstrates that women with involved, supportive fathers have higher self-esteem, better romantic relationships, and greater career success. But hearing his daughter articulate the specific ways his presence shaped her, it's the ultimate validation that his life mattered, that the daily choice to show up and love well was the most important work he ever did.
One quiet morning, his great-grandson, now 8 years old, visits with his mother. The boy has made a drawing at school, a family tree with stick figures representing everyone. At the top, largest of all, is the great-grandfather with lines connecting to everyone below. Teacher said to draw the most important person in our family. The boy explains. I drew you because Daddy says you're the reason our family is so good at loving each other. The old man's eyes fill with tears. This child, who barely knows him, who has only a handful of memories to carry forward, has intuited something essential. He was the wellspring, the source from which the river of family love flowed.
Research on family narratives shows that children who understand their family history and feel connected to previous generations have stronger identities and greater emotional resilience. This boy will remember his great-grandfather not through extensive time together, but through the stories others tell, through the love that permeates his family, through the security he feels that traces back to one man's decision decades ago to be present and loving. As his health continues to decline, the grandfather spends much of his time drifting between sleep and waking, between memory and present moment. In these liminal spaces, he sees his life as a complete whole. The terrified young father holding his newborn daughter, the middle-aged man teaching his son to drive, the grandfather holding his first grandchild, the great-grandfather surrounded by love at his 80th birthday. All of it one continuous thread, one long act of love. Studies on life review and meaning-making at end of life show that people who feel their lives had purpose and who maintain strong relationships experience more peaceful deaths and less existential distress. For him, there is no distress, only satisfaction. He lived according to his values. He loved the people in front of him. He chose presence over perfection, connection over achievement, relationships over recognition. And the evidence of those choices surrounds him now. A family that is whole, children and grandchildren who are thriving. Love that multiplies across generations. One evening, as the sun sets and paints the room in golden light, all of his immediate family gathers around his bed. His children sit on either side, holding his hands. His grandchildren fill the room, some holding their own children. Everyone is quiet, present, honoring this moment. His daughter leans close and whispers, "Dad, we're all here. Everyone you loved is right here with you." He opens his eyes, looks around the room at all these faces. So many faces, so much love, and manages a smile. "My greatest achievement," he whispers, "all of you." His son replies, voice breaking, "No, Dad, you're our greatest achievement. You made us who we are." Research on family presence during end-of-life shows that dying surrounded by loved ones reduces fear and pain, creates meaning from death, and helps both the dying and the survivors find peace. But in this room, research is irrelevant. What matters is that a man who spent his life giving love is now receiving it back, multiplied, reflected in every face around him. He is seeing the harvest of what he planted, and it is abundant beyond measure. As night deepens and some of the family members drift home, children need bedtime. Life continues even in the face of death. His partner of 63 years remains beside him, her hand in his. "It's okay," she tells him softly. "You can rest now, we'll be okay. You made sure of that." He squeezes her hand weakly, and in that small gesture is contained their entire history. Young love, the adventure of building a life together, the triumph and exhaustion of raising children, the joy of watching those children become parents themselves, the quiet contentment of growing old together. They succeeded. They loved each other through it all, and that love created something that will outlast them both. Studies on long-term marriage show that couples who maintain strong partnerships while raising families report that despite the challenges, they would choose the same partner again. She has been his anchor, his partner in the most important work of his life, and as consciousness begins to fade, his last thought is gratitude for her, for their children, for the extraordinary privilege of a life filled with love.
Days pass in a peaceful rhythm, and the grandfather drifts in that space between worlds, his family maintaining vigil. His grandson, the one who called him his compass, sits reading aloud from a book of poetry, knowing his grandfather may not consciously hear, but believing somehow the words matter. Research on end-of-life care demonstrates that hearing is often the last sense to fade. And that familiar voices provide comfort even when responsiveness is gone. But beyond the science, this young man is doing something profound. He's honoring his grandfather the way his grandfather always honored him. With presence, with attention, with the gift of time. He learned this from watching, from being on the receiving end of such devotion for 30 years now. As his grandfather journeys toward the threshold, he gives back what was given to him. The cycle completes, the student becomes the teacher, the love becomes the lover. Everything his grandfather invested is returning to him now, transformed into the tender care of the next generation. His granddaughter sits nearby, nursing her infant daughter, his great-great-granddaughter, born just weeks ago. She whispers to the baby, "This is your great-great-grandpa. He won't be here long, but I want you near him, want some part of you to carry his presence." The old man's breathing changes slightly, as if he senses new life in the room. Here, in this single moment, 5 generations connect. The dying and the newly born, the ancient and the eternal meeting. Studies on intergenerational contact show that exposure to multiple generations, even in infancy, creates neural patterns of connection and belonging that persist throughout life. This baby will never consciously remember this moment. Yet she is being woven into the family story, held in the same room where her ancestor completes his journey, beginning hers in the atmosphere of love he created. The grandfather cannot see her with failing eyes, but he has already shaped her future. The way her mother will hold her, speak to her, make her feel valued, all of it flows from lessons learned decades ago. In the middle of one night, his daughter wakes from dozing in the chair beside his bed. She watches him breathe, each breath slower than the last, and she begins to speak softly, telling him stories from her childhood that he probably doesn't remember. Small moments that meant everything to her. The time he braided her hair before school, fingers clumsy but tender. The way he always asked about her day and truly listened. The feeling of absolute safety she had when he was near. "Dad," she whispers, "you gave me the foundation for everything. Every good choice I've made. Every time I've been brave or kind or strong. It came from knowing I was loved completely by you. You see me, really see me, and that changed my whole life." Research shows that expressing gratitude and sharing memories with dying loved ones provides psychological benefit to both parties and aids in the grieving process. But she's not doing this for therapeutic benefit. She's doing it because she needs him to know, needs to release into the universe the truth of what his fatherhood meant. And somehow, though he doesn't respond, she feels he hears. She feels the communication moving both ways, his spirit acknowledging what his body cannot. His son arrives in the early morning, having driven through the night from a business trip he cut short. He'd been in a meeting when something told him to leave, to come home, to not wait. He sits on the bed's edge, taking his father's hand. "Dad, I made it, I'm here." The old man's eyes flutter open briefly, recognition sparking, and the faintest smile touches his lips. His son begins to cry, all the years of strength and stoicism dissolving. "Thank you," he says, voice breaking. "Thank you for showing me what a man can be. Thank you for teaching me that strength includes tenderness, that pride includes presence, that being a father is the greatest honor of my life. I'm who I am because of you." Studies on father-son relations reveal that men who had close relationships with their fathers report greater emotional intelligence and life satisfaction, and are more likely to seek and maintain intimate relationships. But in this moment, research is irrelevant. This is simply a son telling his father that he succeeded, that the love was received, that the legacy lives on. And And in that communication there is a release, permission for the father to let go, knowing his work is complete.
As the day progresses, more family members arrive, drawn by some invisible signal that the time is near. The room fills with quiet presence, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, his beloved partner at the center of it all. Someone begins singing softly, an old hymn the grandfather loved, and others join in. The great-grandchildren, too young to understand death, sit peacefully, absorbing the atmosphere of reverent love. Research on children's exposure to natural death in family context shows that it can create healthier attitudes toward mortality and deeper appreciation for life's preciousness. These children are learning that death is not something to fear, but a natural transition, and that love means showing up even, especially in the hard moments. They're learning that family gathers, that we honor our elders, that the end of life can be sacred rather than terrible. The grandfather, though beyond speech now, is still teaching, still modeling, still giving his family gifts they won't fully understand for years. As afternoon light streams through the window, something shifts. The room grows quieter, more still, as if the boundary between worlds is thinning. His partner leans close, her weathered hand stroking his face with infinite tenderness. "I love you," she whispers.
I have loved you every day for more than 60 years.
"And I will love you every day that remains to you.
Every day that remains to me.
You made my life beautiful. You were the best father our children could have asked for. You can rest now, my love. We'll carry you forward in how we love each other." Tears stream down her face, but her voice is steady, strong. She is giving him permission, releasing him with grace. Studies on spousal bereavement show that the quality of the marriage and the manner of death significantly impact the surviving partner's adjustment. And that being able to say goodbye provides crucial closure. But she's not thinking about adjustment or closure. She's simply loving him as she always has, giving him what he needs in this final moment. His breathing becomes shallow, irregular, and then, with his children's hands in his partner's lips pressed to his forehead, surrounded by the love of 4 generations, it simply stops. The silence that follows is profound, sacred. No one moves. They sit with the transition, honoring the magnitude of what has just occurred. A life that touched so many has ended. A presence that shaped countless others has departed. But as the minutes pass and the family begins to stir, to embrace each other, to cry in comfort, something becomes clear. He hasn't really left. He lives in his daughter's patience with her children. He lives in his son's emotional availability. He lives in his grandchildren's confidence and compassion. He lives in his great-grandchildren's security. And in great-great-grandchildren not yet born who will grow up in a family system he created. Research on legacy and intergenerational influence confirms what the family instinctively knows: his values. His love, his way of being in the world will persist across generations, shaping descendants he never met. He achieved a kind of immortality that has nothing to do with fame or wealth and everything to do with love multiplied across time. In the days and weeks that follow, as the family navigates grief and adjustment, they find themselves sharing stories constantly. At the funeral, dozens of people speak, not just family but neighbors, former colleagues, friends spanning decades. A common theme emerges. He made people feel seen, valued, important. He had a way of giving his full attention, of listening deeply, of caring about the details of others' lives. His receptionist from 30 years ago shares that he always asked about her children by name. A neighbor remembers how he helped during a family crisis, showing up without being asked.
His children's childhood friends recall how welcome he made them feel, how he treated them with the same respect he gave adults. The picture that emerges is of a man who understood that love is spelled presence, that the quality of our attention is the greatest gift we can give, that small acts of kindness and consistency create lives of profound meaning. Studies on eulogies and legacy reveal that people are remembered not for achievements, but for how they made others feel, for the relationships they nurtured, for the love they gave. His funeral is packed with evidence of a life well lived, not measured in accomplishments or wealth, but in the sheer number of people who felt blessed to have known him.
His partner, now navigating widowhood, finds comfort in watching their children parent their own children. She sees them everywhere, in their patience, their playfulness, their unwavering presence. One evening, her son visits and they look through old photographs together. "Mom," he says, holding a picture of his father with him as a child, "I understand now what he gave us. I'm trying to give my kids the same thing, but it's hard. How did he make it look so effortless?"
She smiles through tears.
"It wasn't effortless, sweetheart.
He struggled sometimes.
Worried he wasn't doing enough. Felt exhausted and overwhelmed, but he kept showing up.
That's the secret.
There is no secret.
Just keep showing up. Keep choosing love.
Keep being present.
That's what he did.
And look at the result." She gestures at her son, this good man who is raising good children.
You're his legacy. Every time you choose your children over your phone. Every time you listen instead of lecture. Every time you show your kids that they matter. That's him. Living on through you.
And her son understands the greatest inheritance isn't money or property, but the template for how to love, the modeling of what it means to be fully human, the gift of knowing what healthy relationships feel like. As months pass and seasons change, the family continues without him, but forever shaped by him. His great-granddaughter takes her first steps, and her father texts a video to the family group chat writing, "Grandpa would have loved to see this." Everyone responds with memories of him teaching children to walk, his patience, his joy in small milestones. The grief is still present, but so is gratitude.
Gratitude for having had him.
For the years of love, for the foundation he built that holds them all. Research on complicated versus healthy grief shows that people grieve most peacefully when they can hold both the pain of loss and the gratitude for having had the relationship. This family, strong in the ways he made them strong, is navigating loss while celebrating life, holding sorrow while choosing joy, missing him while carrying him forward. They're doing what he would have wanted. They're living fully, loving openly, being present for each other. They're honoring him not through shrine building or endless mourning, but by embodying what he taught them. That life is precious, that relationships matter most, that the way we love each other is the measure of a life well lived. A year has passed since the grandfather's death, and the family gathers for a memorial. Not somber, but surabor. They share a meal at the house where he and his partner raised their children, where countless Sunday dinners unfolded, where generations learned what family means. His great-grandchildren run through the rooms, their laughter echoing off familiar walls, and everyone pauses to smile.
He would have loved this.
Someone says, and it's true. The house feels full of him still,
Not in a haunting way.
but in the warmth that permeates everything, the love that soaked into the very foundation. Research on continuing bonds theory shows that maintaining healthy connections with deceased loved ones through memory, ritual, and living according to their values supports psychological well-being and meaning-making after loss. But the family isn't maintaining connection out of therapeutic necessity. They simply can't help it. He's woven into who they are, how they move through the world, the choices they make daily. His grandson mentions that before making a difficult parenting decision, he often asks himself, what would Grandpa do? And the answer always leads him toward patience, toward presence, toward love.
His widow.
now in her late 80s, sits in the garden he planted decades ago, watching her great-great-daughter, now a toddler, chase butterflies. The child stumbles and falls, and her father scoops her up immediately, checking for injuries, offering comfort, making her feel safe. The widow sees her late husband in that gesture, the same instinctive care, the same gentle reassurance. She realizes that he lives most vividly not in photographs or memories, but in how his descendants love each other. Studies on widowhood and life satisfaction reveal that widows who maintain close family connections and who can see their spouse's legacy continuing report higher well-being and sense of continued purpose. She feels him in every family gathering and every story shared, in the way his children have become the family's anchors, providing the same stability and love he once provided. The grief hasn't disappeared, but it has transformed into something bearable, even beautiful. A tender ache that reminds her how deeply they loved, how much they built together, how their partnership created something that will outlive them both.
His daughter has started volunteering at a fatherhood program, helping young fathers learn skills her own father modeled so naturally. She shares stories about him, not to boast, but to illustrate what present, engaged fatherhood looks like. One young father, struggling with anger management, asks her, "Did your dad ever lose his temper?" She answers honestly, "Yes, sometimes, but he always apologized afterward. He taught us that everyone makes mistakes, but repair is always possible. He showed us that real strength is acknowledging when you're wrong and making it right." The young man's eyes fill with tears. His own father was violent, absent, a cautionary tale rather than a model. Research on intergenerational patterns of fatherhood shows that men who lack positive father figures struggle more with parenting, but can break negative cycles through education, support, and exposure to healthy models. This daughter is extending her father's legacy beyond her family, helping other fathers become the dad she was blessed to have. In doing so, she's multiplying his impact exponentially. Each father she helps will shape his own children, who will shape their children, ripples upon ripples spreading outward from one man's decision to love well. His son has written a book about fatherhood, weaving together research and personal narrative. It's dedicated to my father, who showed me what it means to be a dad. The book explores the science of attachment, the importance of presence, the ways fathers shape children's development, all grounded in his personal experience of being fathered well. He writes about the fishing trips, the patient homework help, the emotional availability that gave him permission to be fully human. The book resonates with thousands of readers, many of whom write to say they wish they'd had a father like his, that they're determined to be that father for their own children. Research on social learning and behavior change shows that personal narratives are more effective than statistics alone in motivating behavioral shifts. His son's book is doing more than sharing information. It's inspiring transformation, helping readers envision a different way of being fathers. And all of it traces back to the grandfather, to his daily choices, to his consistent love. He touched his son, who is now touching thousands, who will touch millions. The mathematics of love are exponential. One evening, his granddaughter sits with her own teenage daughter, who is struggling with a difficult decision about her future. Instead of telling her what to do, the mother asks questions, listens deeply, validates her daughter's feelings while gently offering perspective. Later, the daughter says, "Mom, thanks for not freaking out. Thanks for trusting me to figure this out." The mother realizes she's parenting exactly as her grandfather parented, with respect for autonomy, with confidence in the child's capability, with presence instead of control. Studies on parenting across generations confirm that we tend to replicate the parenting we received, especially when it was positive. But more than replication, she's adapted his approach to a new generation, maintaining the core principles: trust, respect, presence, while adjusting for contemporary challenges he never faced. The essence of his fathering wisdom flows through her to her daughter, who will someday parent her own children with the same foundational security. The grandfather never met this great-great-granddaughter, yet he shaped how she's being raised. His influence stretches forward through time, touching lives he couldn't have imagined. His oldest grandchild, now approaching 50, experiences a health crisis that forces him to slow down and reevaluate priorities. During recovery, he thinks constantly about his grandfather.
The way he prioritized family over career advancement. The way he was always present for important moments. The way he seemed to understand what truly mattered. The grandchild makes changes. He reduces his work hours, commits to being home for dinner, starts really listening when his adult children talk instead of always offering solutions. His wife notices the shift and asks what changed. "Grandpa," he says simply, "I kept thinking about how he lived, what he valued. I don't want to reach the end of my life and realize I spent it on things that don't matter." Research on meaning making and life transition shows that people often turn to role models and internalize relationships during crisis, using them as guides for reorienting their lives. The grandfather, gone for years now, is still teaching, still guiding, still shaping choices. His wisdom, absorbed through observation and relationship, becomes activated precisely when needed most.
The family establishes a scholarship in the grandfather's name for young people, pursuing careers in education or social work, fields that focus on serving others, helping families, strengthening communities. His children and grandchildren all contribute, and they decide together that each year, the recipient will be invited to a family dinner to share their story and aspirations. First recipient is a young man whose own father was incarcerated, who is studying to become a family therapist specializing in father-child relationships. At the dinner, he shares that his goal is to help other children avoid the pain of father absence, to support fathers in being present and engaged. The family is moved to tears, recognizing that their grandfather's legacy is expanding in unexpected directions. Research on legacy and meaning shows that creating formal structures to honor deceased loved ones, scholarships, foundations, annual gatherings, helps families maintain connection while contributing positively to society. But more than structure, this scholarship is doing what the grandfather always did, investing in people, believing in potential, supporting those who want to make the world better. Even in death, he's still creating opportunity, still lifting others up. A quiet Sunday morning, several years after his passing, his great-grandson, now 13, is working on a school project about family history. He interviews his grandmother, the grandfather's daughter, asking about her childhood. She shares stories, shows photographs, and eventually pulls out a box of letters her father wrote her over the years. Notes left in lunch boxes, letters sent when she was away at college, cards for birthdays and milestones. The boy reads them and his eyes widen. "Grandma, he really loved you, like you can feel it in every word." She nods, crying, "He did, and the amazing thing is, he made all of us feel that way. His love was never divided, always multiplied. Each of us felt like we were his favorite." The boy is quiet, then asks, "Do you think I can be like that someday? A dad who makes his kids feel that loved?" His grandmother takes his hand, "Sweet boy, you already are. I see you with your little cousins. Patient, kind, present. You learn from watching your dad, who learned from watching his dad, who learned from watching my dad. It's in you already." Research on intergenerational transmission of attachment and parenting styles shows that secure attachment patterns persist across multiple generations, creating family cultures of emotional health. This teenager, never having met his great-great-grandfather, carries his legacy in how he relates to others and the security he feels and the love he's capable of giving. As the day fades into evening and the family prepares to leave the memorial gathering, they stand together in a circle in the backyard, holding hands, 4 living generations connected by blood and by the invisible threads of love the grandfather wove between them. Someone suggests they each share one word that captures what he meant to them. The words come slowly, reverently: safety, patience, presence, wisdom, laughter, acceptance, home, love. When the circle completes, they stand in silence, and in that silence, he is with them, not as a ghost or a memory, but as a living presence embedded in who they are, how they love, what they value. The grandfather's partner, now the matriarch, the keeper of stories, the living link to him, speaks finally. He would tell us not to cry, but to celebrate, to go home and hug our children, listen to our partners, be present for each other. That's how we honor him, by living as he taught us.
by loving as he loved us. Everyone nods, understanding that the greatest memorial isn't stone or ceremony, but lives lived well, love given freely, presents chosen daily as they disperse into the gathering dusk, returning to their own homes and lives. Each person carries the grandfather forward. He exists in every patient response to a child's question, in every choice to put down a phone and truly listen, in every moment someone chooses presence over convenience. He lives in the security his great-great-grandchildren feel, in the emotional intelligence of his grandchildren, in the wisdom his children share. Research on legacy and immortality reveals that we live on through our impact on others, through the values we instill, through the love we give that gets passed forward infinitely. The grandfather understood this intuitively, that fatherhood was never about him, but about them, about equipping them to love well and live fully, about giving them roots and wings, about being the foundation they could stand on to build their own beautiful lives. In the end, as twilight deepens into night and stars emerge to keep their ancient watch, the truth settles like a blessing over everything. Great fatherhood never truly ends. It echoes through time, multiplies across generations, becomes eternal through love's infinite capacity. Years continue to unfold. The family now spans continents. The grandfather's grandson has moved abroad for work, raising his children in a different country, far from the extended family. Yet despite the physical distance, the grandfather's influence remains undiminished. The grandson video calls his mother weekly, and she notices something beautiful. He's recreating the same rituals the grandfather established. Sunday morning pancakes, bedtime stories with silly voices, patient explanations when his children ask endless questions. Research shows that fathers who maintain strong connections with their own parents, even across distance, demonstrate more confident and engaged parenting. Beyond the research, this young father is discovering that the lessons absorbed in childhood become compass points that guide us wherever we go. Geography cannot erase the internal template of love, the muscle memory of good fathering. He finds himself responding to his children exactly as his grandfather responded to him. And in those moments, the distance between past and present collapses. The grandfather lives in these gestures, these choices, these moments of connection happening thousands of miles from where he raised his own children. His granddaughter, now a successful professional, sits in a high-stakes business meeting. The executives around the table are aggressive, interrupting each other, prioritizing dominance over collaboration. She finds herself thinking of her grandfather, how he always made space for others to speak, how he listens before offering opinions, how he treated everyone with respect regardless of their position. She shifts the meeting's dynamic, asking quieter colleagues for their input, facilitating rather than dominating. Afterward, a junior colleague thanks her, saying she made him feel valued. Studies demonstrate that individuals who had respectful, egalitarian fathers are more likely to demonstrate inclusive leadership styles and create psychologically safe work environments. The grandfather never worked in corporate settings, yet his approach to human dignity is transforming this granddaughter's professional world. She's bringing his values into spaces he never occupied, proving that great fatherhood shapes not just family life, but how we move through every domain. Professional, social, civic, his respect for human dignity ripples outward, touching people who never knew him, creating more humane spaces simply because his granddaughter absorbed his way of being. Back home, the grandfather's great-grandson is now a teenager struggling with his identity, trying to figure out who he is beyond others' expectations. His father, the grandfather's grandson, sits with him one evening and shares stories about the great-great-grandfather he barely knew. He taught my dad, who taught me, that the bravest thing you can do is be yourself. He tells his son. He showed us that real strength is being authentic even when it's uncomfortable. The teenager listens, and something shifts. He realizes that his family's legacy isn't about achievement or conformity. It's about integrity, authenticity, showing up as your true self. Research on identity development shows that adolescents who have strong family narratives and positive role models navigate identity formation with greater confidence and less anxiety. This teenager is being shaped by a man he never met, guided by values transmitted across 3 generations. The grandfather's commitment to seeing his children as individuals, to supporting their authentic paths rather than imposing his vision, is now giving his great-great-grandson permission to discover himself without shame or pretense.
The grandfather's daughter, now a grandmother herself, volunteers at a domestic violence shelter, working with women rebuilding their lives. In her sessions, she often talks about healthy relationships, about what respect looks like, about how partners should treat each other. She draws constantly on what she observed growing up, the way her father treated her mother, the equality in their partnership, the emotional availability, the shared labor. One woman tells her, "I've never seen what you're describing. I didn't know relationships could be like that." The daughter's heart breaks and swells simultaneously. She realizes that what felt normal to her, a father who was present, respectful, emotionally engaged, is rare enough to seem impossible to some. Studies show that children who witness healthy parental relationships have lower tolerance for abuse and are more likely to seek healthy partnerships. But her work at the shelter reveals the inverse. Those who never witnessed healthy relationships struggle to recognize them, to believe they're possible, to feel worthy of them. She's extending her father's legacy by showing other women what she always knew, that love can be safe, that men can be tender, that partnership can be equal. His healthy masculinity, modeled decades ago, is now helping women escape toxic relationships and envision better futures. His son has begun mentoring young fathers in his community, particularly those who grew up without positive father figures. He meets weekly with a group of men who want to break cycles, who want to be present for their children but don't know how. He shares openly about his own father. The fishing trips, the patient listening, the emotional availability, the way he balanced strength with tenderness. One young father, close to tears, says, "Man, I don't even know what that looks like. My dad bounced when I was 3. How am I supposed to give my son something I never had?" The grandfather's son responds gently. "You start by deciding to be different. You show up, you stay. You let yourself feel things and express them. You make your kid feel like they matter." Research on fatherhood intervention shows that mentoring programs, especially those involving peer support and positive modeling, significantly improve parenting outcomes, even for men who lacked father figures. The grandfather's son is multiplying his father's impact, helping men who never had what he had, breaking cycles and families he'll never meet. His father's legacy expands geometrically. Each man he helps will shape his children differently, and those children will have a template for healthy fathering to pass forward. One man's commitment to present fatherhood is now transforming entire communities. The family has created a digital archive, videos, photos, audio recordings, written stories, preserving the grandfather's voice, his laughter, his wisdom. His great-grandchildren, some born after his death, can access this archive and hear him speak, see him move, understand who he was. His great-great-granddaughter, now 7, watches a video of him reading a story aloud, his voice warm and animated, and she says to her mother, "He sounds nice. I wish I could have met him." Her mother replies, "You know him through all of us. Every time Daddy is patient with you, every time Grandma listens to your stories, every time we make you feel loved and safe. That's him. He's in all of us." Research on family narratives and digital legacy shows that children who have access to stories and media from previous generations develop stronger family identities and greater resilience. But beyond research, this archive is doing something profound. It's making the grandfather present across time, allowing descendants he never met to encounter him, to hear his voice, to understand the source of the love that flows through their family. Technology becomes a vessel for love's transmission, ensuring his presence persists in increasingly literal ways. His widow, now in her 90s and nearing her own life's end, spends her days surrounded by photographs and memories.
Her children worry she's living too much in the past, but she gently corrects them. I'm not stuck in the past, I'm grateful for it. Your father and I built something beautiful, and I get to see it continuing. That's not sadness, it's joy. She's right. Studies on aging and life review show that reflecting on a life well lived, particularly strong relationships and meaningful accomplishments, contributes to psychological well-being and peaceful acceptance of mortality. She's not clinging to what was, she's celebrating what continues. She sees her husband and her children's patience, and her grandchildren's kindness, and her great-grandchildren's security.
The marriage they built, the partnership that created such a stable foundation for their family, continues to bear fruit decades after his death. She knows she'll join him soon, and the thought brings comfort rather than fear. They'll be together again, and the love they shared will live on in every descendant, every person touched by their family, every ripple spreading outward from what they built together. One afternoon, the entire extended family gathers for a reunion. Nearly 50 people now, spanning 5 generations. They've rented a large venue, and someone has created a family tree display showing everyone's connection back to the grandfather and his wife. The youngest children run and play, oblivious to the significance, while the older generations stand before the display, marveling at how much has grown from 2 people's love. Someone does the math. The grandfather directly parented 2 children, influenced 8 grandchildren, shaped 15 great-grandchildren, and impacted 12 great-great-grandchildren so far, with more likely coming. 37 lives directly shaped by one man's choice to be present, to love well, to prioritize family. But the indirect impact is incalculable. Spouses who married into the family and learned new patterns. Friends influenced by family members. Colleagues affected by leadership styles learned at home. Communities changed by volunteers motivated by family values. Research on social network effects shows that behaviors and values spread through networks in measurable ways, creating ripples far beyond immediate relationships. The grandfather's influence has spread like roots beneath soil, invisible but foundational, supporting growth in directions he never anticipated. During the reunion, they screen a video compilation. Clips of the grandfather throughout his life, interspersed with current footage of family members talking about his impact. The room falls silent as his face appears on screen, young and vibrant, then older, then elderly. His voice fills the space, and several people start crying immediately, not from sadness, but from the profound recognition of presence. Even those who never met him feel something, a connection to this man whose choices decades ago created the family they belong to now. His oldest great-grandchild stands to speak afterward. I was lucky to know him for the first 10 years of my life. What I remember most is feeling important when I was with him. He had a way of making you feel like you were the most interesting person in the world. I've tried my whole life to make others feel that way, and I learned it from him. The room erupts in affirmation, everyone nodding, recognizing that same quality, understanding that this was his gift. Studies on interpersonal presence and attention show that making others feel truly seen and heard is one of the most impactful things humans can do for each other, creating lasting positive effects on self-worth and well-being. The grandfather mastered this, and now dozens of people are replicating it, spreading that gift of presence throughout their spheres of influence. As the reunion winds down and families prepare to return to their scattered homes, the matriarch, the grandfather's widow, asks everyone to gather once more. She's frail now, using a walker, but her voice is strong. Your grandfather would be so proud of all of you, she says. Not because you're successful or accomplished, but because you're kind, because you love each other, because you show up for each other. That's what mattered to him. Not what you achieved, but how you treated people, how you loved. She pauses, looking around at all the faces. He's gone, but he's not gone. He's here in every one of you. And when I join him soon, several people start to protest, but she holds up her hand, smiling. When I join him, I'll tell him what I see.
that the love we planted grew into a forest, that our family is strong and good, that his legacy isn't just continuing, it's flourishing. And I'll tell him that his great-great-great-grandchildren, not yet born, will grow up in a family that knows how to love because he showed us how. That's immortality, that's success, that's everything. Research on family resilience and intergenerational strength shows that families with strong narratives about their origins and values demonstrate greater cohesion and ability to weather challenges. But more than research, this moment is sacred. A matriarch passing the torch, naming the legacy, ensuring everyone understands what they've inherited and what they're responsible for carrying forward. The grandfather's work continues through all of them now, his spirit animating their choices, his love flowing through their relationships, his values guiding their paths.
As night falls and the reunion ends, people embrace, promise to stay connected, take final photos. Children fall asleep in cars, exhausted from play. Adults drive home afflictive, moved by the day's reminder of what matters. And somewhere in the space between earth and heaven, memory and presence, past and future, the grandfather's spirit rests in perfect peace, knowing that the love he gave is infinite, that it will never die, that it grows and multiplies and spreads beyond anything he could have imagined. His choice to be present, to love well, to show up consistently. Those simple decisions created something eternal, something that will echo through generations, touching lives beyond counting, making the world incrementally better simply because he chose every day to be a great father. The grandfather's legacy continues to unfold in unexpected ways. His great-grandson, now a young teacher, finds himself working with children from different backgrounds, poverty, trauma, absent fathers. He notices he approaches these students differently than his colleagues do. Where others see problems, he sees potential. Where others maintain distance, he offers presence. One difficult student, known for outbursts and defiance, begins to soften under his patient guidance. The boy's mother asks what his secret is, and he realizes, I'm just doing what my great-grandfather did, showing up, being consistent, making him feel like he matters. Research demonstrates that teachers who had strong father figures are more likely to form supportive relationships with students and to persist with challenging children rather than giving up on them. The grandfather's influence is now reaching children outside his family line, providing surrogate father-like presence to students who desperately need it. His great-grandson is extending the gift he received, proving that great fatherhood creates people who instinctively nurture others, who understand that patience and presence can transform lives. One man's love for his children is now improving educational outcomes for vulnerable children he never met, in classrooms that didn't exist when he was alive. His granddaughter has become a pediatrician, and she notices something about her practice. She's exceptionally skilled at talking with fathers, at engaging them in their children's health care, at making them feel like essential partners rather than peripheral figures. Other doctors comment on it. Her ability to connect with dads, to make them feel valued rather than dismissed. She traces it directly to her grandfather. I grew up seeing a father who was deeply involved, who cared about details, who was an equal partner in parenting that's normal to me. So I treat fathers like the important caregivers they are. Studies show that pediatricians who actively engage fathers in healthcare conversations see better health outcomes for children and increased father involvement in caregiving. Her grandfather's modeling of engaged fatherhood is now improving healthcare delivery and outcomes for countless families. She's creating systems that honor fathers, that assume their importance, that leverage their involvement, all because she witnessed firsthand what dedicated fatherhood looks like. His presence in her childhood is now benefiting children and fathers in her medical practice, multiplying his impact in the healthcare system. The grandfather's son has written a second book,
This one specifically about grandfathering and the unique role grandparents play in children's development. He dedicates entire chapters to his father's approach, the way he remained involved without overstepping, how he supported his adult children's parenting choices even when they differed from his own, how he created special relationships with each grandchild that honored their individuality. The book becomes a bestseller among aging parents anxious about maintaining relevance in their grandchildren's lives. Research on grandparenting shows that involved grandparents significantly contribute to children's emotional security, academic success, and social development, while also benefiting from increased purpose and life satisfaction themselves. His son's book is teaching thousands of grandparents how to be present across generations, how to adapt their role as children grow, how to love without controlling. The grandfather's wisdom about evolving fatherhood across the lifespan is now guiding countless families through intergenerational relationships. His approach to grandfathering, learned through doing and refined through love, is being systematized and shared, helping others avoid common pitfalls and embrace the sacred opportunity of being a grandparent. One of his great-grandchildren, now in her 20s, has started a non-profit organization supporting single mothers. During a fundraising event, she shares her origin story. "I grew up watching my great-grandfather love my great-grandmother with such devotion, watching my grandfather honor my grandmother, watching my father partner equally with my mother. I saw what healthy relationships look like, and I realized not everyone has that. These single mothers are often doing everything alone, and I wanted to create the village they deserve." Her organization provides practical support, childcare, job training, financial literacy, but also emotional support and modeling of healthy relationships. Studies demonstrate that children who witness healthy parental partnerships develop better relationship skills and are more likely to form stable families themselves, while also showing greater empathy for those who lack such advantages. This great-granddaughter is taking her family's relational health and extending it to those who need it most, creating support systems for families that lack the stability she experienced. The grandfather's healthy marriage and partnership is now inspiring social entrepreneurship, helping vulnerable families build strength and stability. His great-great-grandson, still quite young, shows remarkable emotional intelligence for his age. His preschool teacher comments on it to his parents. He's so aware of other children's feelings. When someone is upset, he notices and tries to help. When there's conflict, he suggests solutions. It's unusual for his age. His parents smile, recognizing the family pattern. It's in his DNA. His father says, only half joking, "My great-grandfather modeled emotional awareness, and it's been passed down through every generation. We talk about feelings openly in our family. We validate emotions. We teach empathy. It's just what we do." Research on emotional intelligence shows that it's largely learned through modeling and family culture, and that children with high emotional intelligence have better social relationships, academic performance, and mental health outcomes throughout life. This young child is benefiting from parenting practices that trace back 4 generations to a grandfather who understood, perhaps intuitively, that emotional literacy was essential. The boy will carry this into his own relationships, his future career, his eventual parenting, perpetuating the cycle indefinitely. The grandfather's widow passes away peacefully in her sleep, surrounded by family at the age of 94. At her funeral, the eulogy focuses not just on her own accomplishments, but on the partnership she and her husband created, how they were true equals, how they supported each other's growth, how their love provided the foundation for everything their family became. One of her grandchildren reads from a letter she wrote before dying. "Your grandfather and I promised each other that we would build something that lasted, something beyond ourselves. We wanted to create a family that knew how to love, that stayed connected, that valued each other. I believe we succeeded when I look at all of you. How you treat your partners, how you raise your children, how you show up for each other. I see our love multiplied and magnified. That's the only immortality that matters.
Research on long-term marriage and family legacy confirms that strong parental partnerships create multi-generational benefits, establishing patterns of healthy relationships that persist long after the original couple is gone. As her casket is lowered into the ground beside her husband's, their descendants understand they're not just burying a grandmother, they're honoring the completion of a partnership that changed the trajectory of their entire family line. In the months following her death, the family establishes an annual gathering in honor of both grandparents. Not a somber memorial, but a celebration of family held each year on the anniversary of the grandparents' wedding. The first annual gathering draws everyone together again, and they create new traditions. Sharing stories about the grandparents, recognizing family members who exemplified their values that year, and having the youngest children plant a tree that will grow as the family grows. Studies on family rituals show that consistent, meaningful gatherings strengthen family bonds, create shared identity, and provide stability across generations, especially during transitions and challenges.
This ritual ensures that even as older family members die and new ones are born, the connection to the grandparents remains alive. Their values explicitly celebrated, their influence consciously honored. The family is taking responsibility for maintaining what was given to them, recognizing that legacy requires active preservation and transmission. Years later, the grandfather's great-great-great-grandchildren are being born. Children so far removed from him in time that they live in a different world with technologies and challenges he couldn't have imagined. Yet his influence persists in how they're being raised. Their parents approach parenting with presence and intentionality, having inherited family practices that emphasize emotional connection over material provision, quality time over quantity of activities, authenticity over perfection. When asked about their parenting philosophy, these young parents might not trace it back 5 generations, but the lineage is there, an unbroken chain of increasingly healthy parenting, each generation learning from the last, refining and adapting while maintaining core principles. Research on intergenerational transmission of parenting shows that positive practices can persist across many generations, creating family cultures that are remarkably stable even as society changes around them. The grandfather set something in motion that has gained its own momentum, becoming a living tradition that will continue as long as his descendants consciously choose to maintain it. One day, a researcher studying multi-generational families contacts the family. Having heard about them through the grandfather's son's books, she wants to interview family members across all generations to understand how strong family bonds develop and persist. Through her interviews, she discovers something remarkable. Every single family member across 5 generations uses similar language when describing what family means: presence, respect, emotional safety, unconditional love. It's extraordinary. The researcher tells them most families show significant variation across generations, different values, different priorities. Your family has maintained remarkable consistency. The core values established by your grandfather and grandmother have been preserved while adapting to changing times. The family isn't surprised they've lived it, but seeing it recognized by an outside observer gives them new appreciation for what they've inherited. Studies on family resilience and intergenerational strength confirm that families with clear, consistently transmitted values show greater stability and well-being across generations. The researcher publishes her findings, and the family story becomes a case study in how one generation's intentional love can shape many generations to follow. As the story comes full circle, we return to where we began. A father waking to his child stirring, rising to meet them with love and patience, but now we understand this moment differently. We see it not as isolated, but as part of an infinite chain. This father was once that child, waking to his own father's love, absorbing lessons he now passes forward. His child will someday be this father, waking to their own child, carrying forward the gift received, and that child's child, and their child after them, on and on, as far as love can reach. The grandfather who started this journey never imagined his simple choice to be present would echo across a century, shaping dozens of lives, touching hundreds more indirectly. He just loved his children,
He just showed up. He just chose again and again to make his family his priority. And from those simple choices, everything else flowed. Research on legacy and life meaning consistently shows that what we give to others, especially to children, creates the most lasting impact and brings the deepest satisfaction. But the grandfather didn't need research. He knew it in his bones, felt it in his heart, lived it in his daily choices. And now, long after his body returned to earth, his love continues, infinite, multiplying, eternal. Great fatherhood never ends. It transforms into something beyond the individual, becoming a force that shapes families, communities, generations. It becomes love itself, endless and ever-giving, the greatest gift one human can give to another.
I see you, I value you, I will be here for you.